Hi guys, this is Ivy from Womply, here to walk you through how to fill out your Paycheck Protection Program application. In this particular case, we're going to be working with non-employers on their first draw applications. These are individuals who do not have employees but are in fact businesses and are making money. Let's go ahead and work together. So first things first, it's going to take you to an application page that looks just like mine. As you can see, there are two different options. You can start a new application or continue application. In our particular case, we're going to go ahead and click Start New Application. It's going to take you to a page that looks just like this. After this point in time, what it's going to ask you to do is enter in the email address right here, then click Send Email. It's actually going to send an email directly to you that has a link that you're going to copy and paste and put directly into your browser. After that, it's going to take you to a page that looks just like this, where it says Continue your Paycheck Protection Program application. It's going to ask, do you already have an existed funded loan with us? Yes or no? In our particular case, we're going to go ahead and click no and press continue. It takes a couple of seconds for it to load, and it takes you to a page that looks just like mine. As you can see, we're going to complete our Paycheck Protection Program application together. So starting with general and working our way down, first we're going to enter in your name, first name, last name, email address, and phone number. The phone number is there just to make sure that they can actually get a hold of you in case there are questions, comments, or concerns. After that, it's going to ask you a couple of questions. First, is this a second draw PPP loan? Yes or no? In my particular case, we're going to go ahead and click no. After that, it's going to ask you for the business name or DBA name. So, in our particular case, we are a business. We do not have employees. So, I'm going to go ahead and enter in the business name to the best of your ability. If you have some kind of a DBA, your tax type. There are two different types here. There are EINs if you have an employer identification number. If not, we're going to go ahead and click SSN. In my particular case, we're going to click SSN and we're going to enter that in right here. Just for the sake of this demo, we do have some dummy numbers that we're going to be entering into the system just so that we can give you a really good idea as far as what this is supposed to look like. After we've entered in the tax ID, either as an EIN or an SSN, then we're going to enter in the name, the date that the business was established. That's going to be month, date, and year. Your NAICS code. If you do not have your NAICS code, that's totally okay. All you have to do is go ahead and click on this little tiny question mark right here. It'll open up a brand new table and it's going to be able to show you how to be able to get that number. If you do not have your NAICS code, please make sure that you write it down. You're actually going to need it for a step later. Otherwise, go ahead and click this down arrow. We're going to enter in the NAICS code to the best of our ability. So 541. We got to scroll down just a little bit. It's not perfect, but it does do the job to the best of its ability, you know? So we're going to get that marketing consulting services. After that, we're going to look at business entity type. We're going to pick the type of entity that is the best for us. So you can see there's trusts, tribal businesses, tenants in common, etc. You know, you've got all sorts of like individuals, independent contractors. In my case, we're going to go ahead and click independent contractor. And then again, we're going to enter in the business phone number. That way, in case they have questions, they can actually get a hold of us directly. After that point in time, it's going to ask us for a size standard. So it'll ask you if you have no more than 500 employees, if you have an SBA alternative size, or the SBA industry size. In my case, because it's just me, we have no more than 500 employees. So we're going to continue. After that point in time, it's going to ask us for the business address that's associated with our particular business. Again, so that they can try to find us in the system. So we enter in our street, our city, our state, our zip code. And after we've entered in all of this information, we're going to do a very important step. So you guys can see right here, there's this little house icon. We need to click the house icon before we can move forward. What this does is it actually looks at the zip code, the congressional district, and the census tract. This makes sure that we can help get your application in the system faster. If you do not hit this house button, you may run into issues later in the application. Please hit the button. After that, it'll ask you if you're a franchise if applicable, and your loan purpose. So this is going to be everything that you're going to use this particular loan for, including payroll costs, utilities, covered property damage, covered worker protection expenditures, other, rent or mortgage interest, covered operations expenditures, covered supplier costs, and other. You're going to enter in everything you possibly can. In my particular case, I'm going to click payroll because that's all I'm going to use it for, but please click everything that's applicable in your situation, and then click next. After that, it's going to take us to the loan details. There are two different forms it's going to have us do. So we have a loan application, and we have a loan amount. So we're going to go ahead and click right here. It's going to download the application. It's going to take you into a form that looks just like this. So as you guys can see, we're going to fill it out together. So starting at the top and working our way down, you guys can see there are some options for what type of business we are. Sole proprietor, partnership, LLC, independent contractor, etc. I'm going to go ahead and click independent contractor. DBA or trade name if applicable. So enter in if you go by a different name. Business or legal name. Business address. Business EIN or TIN, or in our case, that was that SSN, remember, because we're an independent contractor. Business phone number, one more time. We've entered that in a couple of times. Primary contact. Email address. Okay, and then we're going to enter in our average monthly payroll. So we're going to do this to the very best of our ability. Now, this is going to be everything that you actually make yourself to make sure that you can fill this out to the best of your ability. So we're going to enter that in. And then we're going to take that number and we're going to times it by 2.5. After that, we're going to enter in the number of employees. Because it's just us, we're going to go ahead and hit 1. Then again, we're going to enter in the purpose of the loan. In our case, it's just payroll, so we're only going to click payroll. Now, it's really important that if you do things like you schedule a 1099, if you use a schedule 1099, that you are the person who's filling out the application. You're the only person who can fill out this application, and no one else can claim you as an employee. Continuing down the application itself, we're going to fill out the owner name, the title, ownership percentage, EIN, TIN, or SSN, and the address one more time. Okay. Then it's going to ask us a whole bunch of questions, starting at the top and working our way down. Is the applicant or any owner of the applicant presently suspended, debarred, proposed for debarment, declared ineligible, voluntarily excluded from participation in this transaction? We're going to click yes or no. Has the applicant, any owner of the applicant, or any business owned or controlled by any of them ever obtained a direct or guaranteed loan from the SBA? Is the applicant, any owner of the applicant, an owner of any other business or have common management with any other business? Again, we're going to click no. Has the applicant received an SBA Economic Injury Disaster Loan between January 31st, 2020 and April 3rd, 2020? We're going to go ahead and click no. Next, we're going to answer a whole bunch of questions. First, is the applicant an individual or any individual owning 20% or more of the equity of the applicant subject to an indictment, criminal information, arraignment, or other means by which formal criminal charges are brought in any jurisdiction? Again, in my case, that's no. We're going to go ahead and initial next to that. Within the last 5 years for any felony, has the applicant, if an individual, or any owner of the applicant been convicted, pleaded guilty, pleaded nolo contendere, been placed on a pretrial diversion, or has been placed on any form of parole or probation? Again, we're going to click no, and we're going to initial one more time. Is the United States the principal place of residence for all employees? We're going to click yes. Is the applicant a franchise that's listed in the SBA's directory? We're going to click No. Then it has a whole bunch of certifications and authorizations. So by going through and signing the following, we are making the following certifications: that you've read the statements included in the form, including the statements required by law and executive orders, and you do understand that the applicant is eligible to receive a loan under the rules in effect at this time if this application is submitted and that have been issued by the Small Business Administration. The applicant is an independent contractor, eligible self-employed individual, sole proprietor, employs no more than a greater of 500 employees, or if applicable, size, standard, and a number of employees established by the SBA. That you're going to comply whenever applicable with the civil rights and other limitations in the form. That all SBA loan proceeds will be used only for business-related purposes. That to the extent feasible, you'll only purchase American-made equipment and products. That the applicant is not engaged in any activity that is illegal. And that any loan received by the applicant was for the purpose other than paying payroll costs and other allowable uses. Next, we have a whole bunch of things we're going to initial next to. We're going to make the following certifications: that we were in operation on February 15th, 2020 and had employees. Okay? The current economic uncertainty makes this loan request necessary to support the ongoing operations of the applicant. The funds will be used to retain workers and maintain payroll or make mortgage interest payments, lease payments, and utility payments. The applicant will provide to the lender documentation verifying the number of full-time equivalent employees. That you understand that loan forgiveness will be provided for the sum of documented payroll costs, covered mortgage and interest payments, covered rent payments, and covered utilities, and no more than 25% of the forgiven amount may be used for non-payroll costs. That during the period of February 15th, 2020 and ending December 31st, 2020, the applicant has not and will not receive another loan. You further certify that the information provided in this application and the information provided in all supporting documentation is true and accurate in all material respects, and that you understand that knowingly making a false statement to obtain a guaranteed loan from the SBA is punishable underneath the law, and that you acknowledge that the lender will confirm eligible loan amount by using required documents submitted. After you do that, go ahead and enter in your information. You'll enter in your signature. You're going to enter in the date, and then your title. After that, we're going to continue to scroll down. After that, it's going to tell you the purposes of the loans, the instructions for being able to complete this loan, Paperwork Reduction Act, the Privacy Act, disclosure of information, debt collection, right to financial privacy, etc. There's all of that right here. After you're done filling out this loan to the best of your ability, we're going to go up to the top, we're going to go ahead and click Save, and we're going to exit out of that. Now that we filled out this application, we're going to go ahead and click Select File. We're going to find our application itself. Let's go ahead and go to Documents. There's our form right here for you guys at Harvest. And then we went ahead, we entered that directly into the system. After that, it's going to ask us to be able to do the calculator for the loan amount. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and click right here. We're going to open up this calculator and we're going to do it together. Look at that. So it looks like this. Now, there's a couple of things that are really important about this calculator. First things first, it looks a little bit confusing. There's all sorts of different tabs down here at the bottom. There's all sorts of information that we need to do. That's okay. I'm going to help you so that it feels a little less overwhelming. First things first, there are multiple tabs here. So you can see there's first draw, second draw, partnership data, and examples. In our particular case, we're going to focus on the first draw tab because this is our first draw loan. Now, with that in mind, there are 3 different sections within this first draw tab. There's non-seasonal business, seasonal business, and new business. This means that you're less than 2 years old. In our particular case, we're only going to fill out the non-seasonal business. So let's do it together. First, it's going to ask us for the total payroll cost of either 2019 or 2020 for employees residing in the United States. So let's go ahead and grab that information super quick. Okay, number of employees earning more than 100,000. Okay, we don't have that in here either. That's totally fine. Total payroll expenses for the employees earning over 100,000. Again, what happens is if you do have employees that are over 100,000, it takes this number, times it by the total number of people that are here, and removes that from this amount to give you the correct loan. If you file a 1040 Schedule C line 31, so we'll go ahead and enter that in right here. And then it tells you enter this amount under the average monthly payroll in the application. So it says 6667. So we're going to go right here. We're going to go to average monthly payroll, 6667. Okay, times 2, that should be $16,667. Let's check our math. $16,667. Now we're completely done filling out this application right here. So we're going to go up to the top. We're going to click Save. Make sure that our calculator is in fact saved. We're going to go to our Select a File right here at the top. We're going to find the correct file in question right here, and we're going to press Open. After that, as you can see, it's uploaded directly into the system. It takes a couple of seconds. So while that's uploading, we'll go down here to the bottom where it says Idle. If you do have an idle grant amount, please enter in your economic injury disaster loan right here. If you do not, that's totally fine. You can leave it blank. If you do enter it, please make sure that you have your loan number. So we have our calculator, we have our corrected PDF, and now we're going to press Next. After that, it's going to ask us for job details and tax returns. So current number of employees, because we're an individual contractor, we're going to press 1. Employees last year, again, it's an individual contractor, we're going to press 1. Then it's going to ask us for some tax filings. So when we talk about tax filings, that could mean something like a Form 941 directly in the business, supporting payroll processors. In our particular case, we need to get our updated Form 1040 Schedule C and our 1099 MISC. So let's go ahead and find those. Let's go right here. Let's find my 1099 right here. It's my 1099 MISC right here. We're going to find my Form 1040 Schedule C, as you can see right there. We're going to press Open. Now we have all of the necessary documentation that we have right here, my 1040 and my 1099. Now we're going to press Next. So we got that. We're totally fine. Everything's good. Now we're going to enter in our owner information. There are 5 owner tabs. Where we are an individual contractor, we only need to fill out the one. So let's do it together. First, we're going to enter in our name, our ownership percentage, our job title. We're just going to call ourselves owner because it's really easy and it makes things a lot easier for us. Our SSN. Again, as always, any and all information that we show you guys directly in a video like this is falsified to make sure that we can give you the best example possible without compromising data. We're going to enter in our phone number, our email address, our street address, and then after we've entered in all this information, just like last time, please make sure that you hit that house button. Again, it helps to make sure that we have, in fact, the correct address for you and your particular business, and it speeds up the process overall. Please make sure you hit that. After that, it's going to ask you for your demographics. So your gender, your veteran status, your race, your ethnicity, and then it's going to ask you for a copy of your driver's license. Please make sure that it is in fact in full color to make sure that you can add that into the system and we can read it appropriately. If it's blurry, if it's not in color, it will be sent back. Please make sure it is color and it is full. It's really good to use like your cell phone for something like that. After you've entered in all that information, we're going to press Next. Like I mentioned before, we don't have a second, third, fourth, or fifth owner because we are in fact an individual contributor. We're going to press Finish Application. After that point in time, all you have to do is hit Submit My Application. On this, I'm going to say the account for video, just so that they know that this is in fact a fake one. Then we're going to press Submit My Application. After that point in time, as you can see, it says our submission is complete, and they'll be contacting us regarding our application. If we have any questions about the application, we can go ahead and contact Harvest Small Business Finance LLC directly. But if you guys do run into any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to reach out. However, in the meantime, what's going to happen from here is you're actually going to receive an email that has some next steps, any questions they may potentially have, or any additional pieces of information that they need from here.